So, fam, Trey Wright, thank you so much. Fuck the mainstream media and fuck censorship. You're right, Trey. Because not only is it kind of disgusting, the fact that we're censored for speaking the truth. We've never incited violence. All we have ever done is show you what goes on.
I thought you helped stoke what happened at the Capitol.
I did not stoke what happened at the Capitol, and there's video proof of that.
Oh, okay.
There's such video proof that the United States District Attorney's Office in the District of Columbia decides to take our footage and use it to prosecute two individuals. But that doesn't stop there, fam. Because what happens is the mainstream media decides to use our footage without even contacting us, without even letting us know what's going on, without even making an offer. Only one outlet did, and that is the Washington Post and Jeff Bezos. So, fam, let's get right into it.
Yeah, I forgot to get my glasses. Johnny, can you grab them? They're in my bag. I can't see any of this without.
You can't see anything.
No.
Right. This bag.
Yeah.
Give a little insight without going on, telling people what your thoughts are when we first heard of this stuff.
Well, it's enraging, to be honest, because while they're demonetizing our channel, these people are making money off of our clips that are supposedly, filled with misinformation when we're just literally filming everything, right? And they get to make money off of our channel while we're demonetized. It's fucking enraging.
Yeah. So, fam made a tweet. And we're going to read it in 2 seconds, but I just like to say ditto on that too as well, because my tweet kind of goes over that as well. It's the fact is that we're demonetized, but yet the district attorney's office and the whole mainstream media, all of them out there. I've had calls from friends today who I haven't heard from in months, or haven't heard for years. Hey man, I just saw your clip on TV, and I'm like, what? And then we go look, and it's right there. And in fact, it's such a pivotal piece of information for the district attorney's office that they wouldn't even really have a solid case unless they had our footage.
Right.
Now, we weren't sticking our camera where it doesn't belong. We were just documenting what goes on, and the shit happened in front of us.
Cameras belong anywhere, because that's what the free press is about. So the press is there to hold accountable the rest of the government, right? And that's why the press is there. CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, New York Times, all these people, they weren't there because they don't do that. They don't go on the ground and actually cover things the way we do. But somehow they feel entitled to using our footage without even notifying us or compensating us. And I think at one of them you said they clipped out our logo?
What they did was they clipped out our watermark and they put the two pictures forward, but then as you go through the video, they use the video and our watermarks there. So, I mean, literally, it's so easy to find. I just looked right away, and there's 6 videos of them using us. But let's start with your tweet, because this is so true here.
So I just said, this is just ABC. So Breaking ABC used our footage without stating the specifics of who we are or compensating us. As we're traveling on the ground, we're being censored, and we're censored by YouTube. By censored, I don't mean we just have one video taken down and we're crying about it and we just got one video demonetized. We have our entire channel demonetized and our entire channel censored, with multiple videos being removed without our consent. And the mainstream media gets to work with using our work freely. And so our stream is also being used in this indictment. Now, the first part, I think we can watch some of this. It's the first 2 minutes or less is when they use it. It's a 30-second clip. And the reason we knew it's because the Washington Post alerted us and asked us, out of all the people, if they could use our footage. And they've also compensated us, but they were the only ones out of all the other media. And I am no Washington Post fan, but they went through the process as should have been done. Yeah. Instead, the rest of these paid propagandists are actually pretending that they can just freely use our footage, and and they're also using it for their own narrative, for their own narrative framing and propaganda, because this is regarding Brian Sicknick.
Yes.
Who initially the New York Times reported was actually bashed in the head with a fire extinguisher, and they had to retract that story, and they didn't even retract it as much as say, oh, well, there's still an ongoing investigation, and they haven't led any evidence, but they had to backtrack from their initial story. They and other media had to do that. So now they're saying, because they heard the words bear mace used in this clip, they're saying that means that is potentially what caused Sicknick to actually pass away the following day, even though that doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. Now, I'm not going to, necessarily, I'm not investigating that per se, but what we are saying is they get to put their own spin on things, and the language that's being used is really reminiscent of the whole, white domestic terrorists came in and they did this and they did that, to amplify this whole narrative that the white domestic terrorist in America is the most dangerous thing in the world, and that we need to all become FBI informants, and we need more control in media, and blah, blah, blah. So all of this is interrelated because it's all that we've been talking about, the mass censorship of independent media and people like us, the fact that we do work that the mainstream media will not do, the fact that the mainstream media are paid stenographers and propagandists for the establishment, the national security state, and their three-letter agencies, and also the fact that they are basically using these certain narratives to push a political agenda.
Yeah. And I just also want to reiterate too as well that the district attorney's office wouldn't even have a case if it wasn't for this video. So the fact that they're demonetizing us while every mainstream media outlet who doesn't have the balls to get in there, and I'll be honest with you too, my main concern when we were in there was watching my crew, watching each other's backs, right? We went right up to the Capitol building. Mace was in the air. We can smell it. We can feel it, tear gas, that is. We know it's there. And at the very end of the segment, I'm going to hand the microphone to Jonny just to give you a little, I want you to get his perspective on when he heard it, because Jonny talked about it. He's like, no, Pasta, I heard him say bear mace, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had caught it because he understands. Jonny knows what to look for when we're in these situations, because we were in Portland, we were in Seattle, we were in all these places. We have a lot of experience getting on the ground. So it's really, in my mind, it's kind of really just, the only word I can think about is disgusting, the way we're demonetized, the way we're shadow banned, the way we're just casted out. And this is something that all independent media people should be, complaining about. The fact that the mainstream media just gets to take our footage and put it all over the news. Yeah. I'm talking about all these, it's on all the mainstream media news. They wouldn't even have this story if it wasn't for the Convo Couch. Plain and simple. But yet we have to get punished. So I just want to say thank you to all YouTube people out there too as well, everybody out there who's helping us keep this alive, because this is what we have to do to keep the real news going. Fam?
So let's just watch the clip real quick.
Yeah.
Which part?
It's the very beginning.
Another week together here, and we begin tonight with those major new arrests in the Capitol riot. 2 men charged with assaulting Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who later died. Authorities say they assaulted him and other officers using toxic chemicals, possibly bear spray. And tonight, prosecutors revealing images that they say show what they're now alleging. They say Julian Cater made a reference to bear spray. They believe George Tanios had the spray in his backpack. And this image allegedly showing one of the suspects pointing a spray canister toward the officers. And then this image of Officer Sicknick doubled over, they say, after being sprayed. The officer died the next day, and tonight there's new reporting on another suspect, too, arrested for allegedly attacking another officer, stealing his badge, and then authorities say burying that badge in his backyard. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, leading us off tonight.
Tonight, 2 new arrests providing the first answers about what authorities believe happened to Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who tragically died the day after the insurrection. Federal prosecutors charging 32-year-old Julian Cater of Pennsylvania and 39-year-old George Tanios of West Virginia with assaulting Sicknick, accusing the men of using toxic chemicals, possibly bear spray, on Sicknick and other officers. The government referencing this video shot by an online media company, which allegedly shows the critical moment just before Sicknick is attacked. Cater apparently makes reference to bear spray. This image allegedly showing one suspect pointing a spray canister in the direction of the officers. Another image, sources say, shows Sicknick doubled over, reacting to the chemical. The new charges come.
Okay, so there you can see, right, fam? Mm-hmm. Like, they used our thing, and then they have photos for the other shit. They don't even have footage. But in our video, the fake news that we are...
Right.
Yeah.
And they say an online media company, which we are a media company, but they didn't state anything of who we were or any specifics. And, I mean, at least that clip stated it. Others even did less. And so you have, also, we have the indictment, right?
Yep.
Did you have a tweet you wanted to share?
No, it was my tweet, but I just I talked about it before.
Okay.
I just said everything I've been saying. It's just disgusting the way they're demonetizing us while everybody's using our footage and not even putting the courtesy of the Convo Couch up there, fam.
Yeah.
So please,
so here is a picture of that was pointed to us by a journalist from the Washington Post. They're using our footage in this indictment of the United States versus Julian Elie Cater and George Pierre Tanios, two people that were found, of course, as being these insurrectionists. And we're not going to read through this whole thing. You guys can go look at it. But there it is. And there is in figure 1, the Convo Couch. There. So this piece of evidence is absolutely crucial to the investigation that the FBI and, of course, the U.S. State Department are pushing against these actors. And so, at the very least, I mean, it's just hilarious to me. Like mainstream media with all the funding and all the shit that they have, don't even do the level of reporting we do. Right? Yeah. It's crazy, and yet. What do we get? We get the election was called, blah, blah, blah. We get Russia. We get the Russian one. We also get the...
yeah, you're talking about the little disclaimers.
the little disclaimers.
I think we got a QAnon one,
We got a QAnon once before. It's like, oh, really? But now when it comes to this, they're relying on our information to go after these people, which is hilarious to me. I mean, we didn't go in there with a certain narrative that we were trying to spin in any way, shape, or form. We went in there to actually just tell the truth and ask people questions regarding as to why they were there at the Capitol that day, because they were supposedly there for, fighting for election integrity or being pissed off that they claim that the election was rigged. And so we went in there, as people who are election integrity activists, trying to figure out exactly what these people thought was rigged, trying to ask them questions, trying to even educate people as to how, especially on the right, when they say misinformed things like voter fraud. And really talk to them. We didn't go in there to try to, frame people or get in or make Trump supporters look a certain way, one way or the other. Either way, we didn't go in there. So that's just for posterity. We didn't go in there with any sort of narrative. We just wanted to film exactly what was happening. And Jonny was, of course, behind the camera, as always. And we were just there. We caught the footage, guys. And it's, what is it, 3 months later? Almost, right? It's 2 months later that this is all coming out, and it's crazy. And we're gonna pursue to find a way to get compensated for this, because it's only fair, as these people are making tons of money with clicks on our footage. We are demonetized by YouTube. And by the way, this points to the marriage of big tech and these Google and YouTube and these giants with the mainstream media. They prop each other up. With one without the other cannot exist in the full capacity that they are. And meanwhile, they're censoring real journalists like us left and right. And it's just hilarious that not enough people are pissed off about this. We need more people to be more pissed off, because they are going to do this to every single one of you. Yeah. They've done it to Ford Fisher. They've done it to multiple people. This is something they get away with, and they shouldn't be able to get away with it any longer.
Yeah. Oh, it's a private company, fam. They can do what they want when they want it and stuff. But
this is our footage.
We don't even get courtesy of the Convo Couch. We got it from an online media company. Yeah, our watermark is there, asshole. We know you got it from because you guys don't have anybody to go in there and really film stuff. You never did. I mean, we saw this too as well.
Most people are scared.
Oh, they're way scared. I get scared when we go in those situations. I'm always just trying to keep an eye on Jonny with the camera. Like I'm afraid that they're going to try to shoot the camera out of his hands, because they don't want to be held liable in situations. Yeah. But this is a situation where the U.S. District Attorney's Office, the United States versus these kids, they used our footage. They wouldn't even have this case unless they used our footage and stuff. And it is messed up. Like we talk about the marriage. Let's take a look at the just to show you proof real quick. Here is CNBC, a minute 13 right there, where they have it up as well.
Julian Cater from a LinkedIn page.
There it is. No, you don't have to. We just have to show it right there. So there you see CNBC. It says Fox News. Right there, Mr. Shepard, fam's favorite
federal prosecutor.
journalist
thank
hero.
you for being with us.
ABC
To
Good
say
Morning
that Julian
America,
Cater
right there. ABC uses it. How about a little CNN for you? You know those assholes would use it.
On the videos, court papers say Cater walks toward Tenios.
They source the Justice Department to use it. And then CBS. Right there. So you could see they all have been using it. Everybody's been using our footage, and they haven't got permission. I know what they're going to try to say is that they went to the Justice Department now, and that's how they got it and stuff. Like,
No,
that's
sorry.
bullshit.
That's bullshit because the Justice Department it doesn't own that footage. They're using our footage.
Yes.
For an investigation. So they're just using. I mean, they're the Justice Department. They're doing a police investigation. That's different. You're a journalist. You're a media company making money off of our footage. Sorry, pay up.
Yeah.
And just because we don't have the bandwidth that CNN doesn't mean we're less entitled to what. To even being mentioned the way they're not mentioning us. I mean, it's really ridiculous, and they need to be called out for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Another thing I want to point out regarding the Brian Sicknick situation is they're talking about bear mace in such a way that, oh my God, this is what killed this policeman and blah, blah, blah. We spent like the better half of last year covering protests, and they the police use weapons far superior, or in other words, far more lethal to on civilians. Like they were pointing live rounds on people, rubber bullets, bear mace, gas, tear gas, that like pepper gas that is like you don't even have to be like, you could even be masked and you could still like feel it. Like, so it's kind of interesting how now all of a sudden, oh my God, bear mace, that's so terrible when it's used on a cop, but the cops have free form to use it on everybody.
They've never used bear mace, but they use rubber bullets, sound cannons. Yeah.
No, cops have used it before. Not maybe in our experience, but they have used it in other protests. Yeah.
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 Is bear mace supposed to chase away a bear?
Yeah, that's the point.
Johnny, can you want to really quick? I just want you to tell your story about what you thought when you saw everything and when you were there. So
in that part of the video, I just want to say, I don't think cops use bear mace. I don't know. I haven't seen evidence for that. In that part of the video, when we shoot that part, it was right after somebody had gotten maced by the police or tear gas in the eyes by the police. And then, and then I feel like I thought I heard somebody say something about bear mace, and I'm like, that's kind of sketchy. And then I guess there it was in the video. I mean, I didn't think anything about it, but I guess it looks like they're using it to, I mean, they shouldn't be using bear mace,
They shouldn't be, but the cops are using.
We don't approve of that. We don't approve of civilians using bear mace. I don't approve of civilians using bear mace in any situation.
So would you approve of a BLM supporter using bear mace to defend themselves from cops using weapons against them?
The law is going to say that that's not legal to do, right?
Right. I'm just saying, like, if it was the other way around.
Yeah, no, even if it was, they shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be, but a protester or an activist could argue, well, we're just defending ourselves. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, that could definitely be an argument they use. I think my point is it's hypocritical of them to pretend that the police are experiencing something so lethal when the police openly use far worse weapons on civilians.
What I want to know, well, we're not doing the investigation, right, of how Sicknick died. What I want to know is that have people died from bear mace, Well, then if you go through the case and see if they said they used surveillance cameras to get the time of when Sicknick got sprayed, right, and he was keeled over and sprayed. It looked like he was sprayed. So I want to see if that. But I mean, either way, we were just doing our thing out there.
Yeah.
Doing our footage, getting our footage, and being there in that historic day. So that's what I gotta say.